Now imagine a family in turmoil, a Muslim marriage falling apart and on the brink of divorce due to adultery and dishonesty. Now all these details are contained in Kharnita Mohamed's newly released book titled Called to Song, a read that takes us into Qabila's world, a woman whose perfect life comes crumbling down after so many years of trying to make her marriage work, and of course her mother's death being the final straw. Let's now chat to the woman who penned this story now. Kharnita joins me now from our Sea Point studios in Cape Town to help us unpack this offering. A very good morning to you, Kharnita. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be speaking to you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Now, from the first chapter of the book, you grip us with the most tragic things to hit Qabila, the main character, and of course, and the death of her mother. Without giving away too much, what happens from there on?
So Qabila's mom passes away, and this makes her begin to think about what her life's been about, and it induces a lot of change in her life. She begins to look at a marriage, whether or not a marriage is working. She tries to feel her way through the sacrifices she's made for a marriage, and concludes that she doesn't want to live the way in which she's been living for the last 17 to 20 years. And she wants a very different kind of life. And so we follow her as she really, really faces up to what's happening in her marriage and rebuilds her life throughout the novel.
Yeah, and Qabila, is an epitome of what some women across all the cultures who get into relationships for the wrong reasons. Talk to us about the decision that she takes that makes her to be where she is.
Well, she's taken various decisions. She meets this boy when she's very young, and she decides that this is the person she wants, and she gets into a relationship with him, and of course she finds that the relationship she has is nothing like she'd imagined, that the fantasy and the reality of the relationship is nothing like she'd imagined. And throughout her experience with him, she becomes wounded over and over and over again, because the choice she'd made to pursue this person who wasn't right for her at the time really hurt her. So, yeah.
Yeah, and other...
we've all been there, where we decide that we... Yeah,
and the other fascinating and interesting character is, of course, Qabila's sister, Zainab, who is present in Qabila's life journey for most and the best parts of the book. Talk to us about their relationship.
So there are two very different characters. Qabila is very middle class. She's a professional. She's a lecturer, whereas Zainab is a housewife and has a fairly traditional Orthodox Muslim sort of marriage. They are very different, however. Whereas Qabila has given up most of her, her power to Rashid, her husband, and just floats around. Zainab is very much in charge of her family. And I try to, in writing these characters, I try to upend some of our ideas about who might be empowered, who might not be empowered, and rewrite the story of the Cape Ballet housewife, so to say, to show that there are households where women have a lot of power.
Oh yeah, women do have so much power. I do agree with you on that. Now, issues of race, relationships, gender identity feature quite prominently in this book. How did you manage to capture the true essence of these themes?
Well, I don't know. So I'm very troubled by the way in which we continue to racialize people. And I wanted to think about that. I wanted to think about how racialization and racism manifests in our most intimate lives, in how we love, in the way in which we relate to people, in the ordinary ways in which we decide who can be loved, what is possible in intimacy. And so through these characters, Rashid, Qabila, Zainab, Fakhriya, I explore how racism manifests when we don't imagine that we're entering into this long, very painful history that we've inherited in this country.
You know, as the plot thickens, one unanswered question, one big question is that we should be asking ourselves, the readers, is who should be blamed for Qabila's situation? Is it because she was in a loveless relationship? Is it Rashid's unfaithfulness, or is it a mother's death?
I don't know that it's just about blame. I think we all sometimes we act in ways that are not really directed or focused. We just act without an awareness of why we might be doing things, and influenced very much by what our gender allows, what racism allows, what class allows, for example. I think sometimes different people come together in ways that are, dynamics that are either toxic or not. But in this story, we see that the history of racism allows particular things. We see that the history of patriarchy and the ways in which masculinities and femininities unfold in contexts of intergenerational violence produces particular outcomes for different characters.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's about blame, but it is about trying to live very consciously and awareness with the histories that we've inherited.
All right. Kharnita, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And amazing work there. Amazing work. Thank you. Well, telling us about the publication and release of a new book titled Called to Song is anthropologist and author Kharnita Mohamed, and she joined us from our Sea Point studios in Cape Town. And if you want to get yourself a copy of this book, it's currently available at all the major book shops around the country. This is Morning Live. It is 14 minutes before 8 o'clock. Now, for our book feature this morning, we just spoke to author of the book titled The Woman in Me Arising Out of a Storm, Sina Mamabolo. Well, you can also send us some of the books that you are reading or have read. All you have to do is to email, Instagram or tweet us a picture and relevant caption of the pick of the week, must read for 2018, your current read, and the one you are hoping was going to be great but turned out to be rather disappointing. Well, we're also inviting our bookworm viewers out there to join us on Morning Live for the book review slot so that they can tell us more about the books they are reading or have read. So if you want to come in and review those books, just send us a picture of the book and a relevant caption on our social media platforms. Tweet us using the handle at Morning Live SABC or hashtag Morning Live. Now, tag us on Facebook, Morning Live SABC, and Instagram us on @Morning Live SABC or email morninglive@sabc.co.za.